I am a real artist and art tutor working and teaching from my studio in Oxford. So if you would like to see more of my art, visit amylets.com. If you would like to get lessons from me, visit startartclasses.com. Okay, let's do this. This piece is called Jousting Knights. It's acrylic on canvas and I painted it in April 2020. It measures 16 by 36 inches and took me 13 hours to paint, not including sketching out the initial design, then transferring it to the canvas, drying times, procrastination or breaks. There is a real-time version of this video on my Patreon. There's a link up to the top and the right if you're interested in becoming part of my epic team. Patrons also got a desktop wallpaper of this, and for those in the illithid tier, which I'm currently calling it, they also received a print. You can buy this piece. I think the original's still knocking around. And I'm going to add a link to my store now. You can also get a print. Sales talk over. So clearly I drew this out first before transferring it to the canvas. I drew it out using a mechanical pencil on A4 paper. I drew each of the knights individually, so they were not together like this. Then I scanned both of those pencil drawings into my computer, and I went into Clip Studio Paint, where I made an amalgamated image and arranged them like this. And I also adjusted some of the proportions to make sure that they were correct. I printed off the result and then transferred them to the canvas using graphite paper. This video is sped up 8,000 times, so we're getting through the process with some alacrity. I've painted in the background first, and you kind of see how I cut away into the trees and kind of paint the negative space of the sky around them. So that was pretty fun to do. And then the crowd is painted in grey, and then I just used some spot colour on the faces and on the clothes, just a little tiny bit of colour to give them more of a sense of life. Movement. You can see where I've kind of rubbed my finger along the paint to create a kind of blurred effect on the faces, making it look like the horses are moving at speed, and so we've got an unfocused effect. Also, by making the crowd grey, it kind of defocuses them and pushes them back so that they don't dominate the picture too much. I'm using System 3 acrylic paints by Dale Rowney, and also Golden Artist Colour. Fortunately, you can mix different types of acrylic paints as much as you like. The System 3 tends to be a bit thinner, and the Golden a little bit thicker. My paint brushes include a System 3 Dale Rowney one-stroke brush, which has held up very well and I've had for about 10 years. So this was used for blocking in the colours because a nice big brush means that doesn't need to take too much time. For the details, I used a Daler-Rowney System 3 Filbert number 2, which I'm sorry to say I have entirely wrecked by the end of this process. It did not stand up terribly well. So if anybody has advice for a more robust filbert, I would love to hear it. My third brush is a System 3 Daler-Rowney Round number 6, and that survived the process. I used my own reference photos to create this picture. They were taken at Blenheim Palace in Oxford, so not terribly far away from me. I very much like the pageantry and the colours, and of course the beautiful horses. But as a long-term fan of fantasy and kind of quasi-medieval worlds, I'm often disappointed to see them depicted with lots of browns, and also in ruined castles, as if the castles were ruined when people lived in them and had just built them, which of course they are not, and they were in fact decorated with very colourful tapestries and some seriously cray-cray fashion. The red on this knight to the left, bit of a challenge. If you've ever tried to mix reds, then you know that if you add black to make it darker, it kind of makes it muddy. And if you add white to make it lighter, it kind of makes it pink. So I think I've got maybe 3 or 4 different types of red here. I've got cadmium red light and just cadmium red as well. Alizarin crimson hue and also magenta. I took a bit of artistic license on the layout of this. The blue divider that you can kind of see in front of the crowd, that would actually go between the 2 horses. But not so great for painting, because then, you know, there'd be a horse that we wouldn't be able to see very well. Also, both knights would be wearing a helmet and using a shield. In this case, only the defeated knight on the left has those, which, you know, we kind of like the faceless enemy a bit, I think. We don't have to worry about him too much. And we don't need to see his face, because actually the horse is giving us all of the expression here. In contrast, the knight on the right, wearing royal purple, has his face revealed, and you can see his hair flowing out majestically behind him. He strikes a dashing figure, a confident figure, perhaps overconfident. He certainly isn't worried about his safety. It tells a bit of a story, as well as being exciting, action-packed, colourful and energetic. Putting the shadows in is important, because without them there, it kind of feels like the horses are floating. Putting a shadow in always grounds the subject really well. It makes it feel like it belongs in that landscape. At first, I did consider using some actual gold paint, but I painted the reflection so well that, if anything, I feel that would have flattened it, so I let it be. This is the finished article. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll come back soon. If you haven't subscribed, go and hit that button now. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a small channel and your support really helps. Because I have less than 1,000 subscribers, YouTube is unlikely to recommend my videos. You can change this by liking, following and hitting the bell icon to say yes, I want to see this. If Amy makes more videos, please tell me about them. I post to YouTube twice a week, every week. Let's Plays go out on Tuesdays and Let's Draws go out on Thursdays. My webcomic, Epic Fail, updates on the first Tuesday of every month. This is all thanks to my patrons: Sam Letts, Factal Darkwood, Andy Luke and Trevor Orchard. You enable my creative habits and I don't know what I would do without you. Patrons get to see most videos a whole year in advance. YouTube gets a creative trickle. Patreon gets a creative dump. Patrons also receive rewards like exclusive wallpapers and art prints. Don't miss out. Check it out. Stay epic and farewell.